Welcome to Step Into Wellness. I am Justa Ortita Encarnacion, your Commissioner of the Virgin Islands Department of Health. This is Pinktober, or Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And this evening we'll be speaking about cancer in general, but we'll also be focusing on breast cancer. And to discuss with us, we have our Senate President, Senator Novel Francis Jr., as well as Ms. Cassandra Dunn, who will be speaking with us and sharing some of their experiences. Unyielding courage, stories of strength, hope, and triumph. Imagine. I couldn't think of two people which I really would like to have this conversation with. So thank you both for coming, Ms. Dunn, as well as Senator Francis. I'm really glad to have you here. So we're going to be talking a little bit about breast cancer, or a lot about breast cancer. This is what you call, what's this one called?
Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Correct. But it's called Pinktober?
Yes, that
right?
too.
Pinktober, right? Because of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, as everyone wears a little pink,
Yes.
as well as a little bit of pink here and there. And so we also have Senator Francis, who's dressed in his yellow and blue for Department of Health colors. I didn't miss it. But you also have your pink ribbon. So thank you so much for being here with us, both of you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Dunn, how did you first discover that you had breast cancer?
Well, it was in 2009. I was very busy. I was a busy working mother and probably not paying as much attention to my health as I should have been. And one day, my husband said, "What is that?" And it was a lump. And off I went to the doctor, and the diagnosis came back that I had breast cancer.
And that must have been, well, tell me how you feel. I can't tell you how did you feel?
Well, me, as so many do, you feel like it's an out-of-body experience. You're hearing the words, you know what cancer has done to those that have been close to you, people in the community, and then you say, how did it happen to me? And then your next thought is, well, it did happen to you, and so let's get moving with it. Let's see how we can conquer this. And so you move from the disbelief, for some it's denial, and then you move to the next steps on your journey to survival.
And you had support.
I did.
Your husband actually is the one who found it.
Right. And we shouldn't really minimize the importance of that. You know, when one person in the family has cancer, everyone is affected. And so the support really started there. Just, the doctor's appointments, the treatments and all. So, yeah, it was important to have the support of my husband, my children, and certainly my friends and other family.
What type of treatment did you actually receive?
Well, when I found out I had breast cancer, I did have a surgery here. I had a lumpectomy. But at that time, we did not have a full-time oncologist on St. Croix. So I decided to leave, go to New York. My sister lives there. And I became a patient at Memorial Sloan Kettering Hospital.
Okay.
When I got there, however, thinking that I only had breast cancer in the breast, which had been removed, I found out it was metastatic breast cancer, and it had traveled to my liver. And so from that point, it was about 8 months of chemotherapy, and which was a little challenging, but there was always that quest for survival. Always, I've got to get through this. It was tough, I won't deny, but it was also so uplifting. There were many people that supported me through that process.
It's so funny because I've always known about you. And I know you're a communications director, and for some reason you are always like some omnipotent person. I'm telling you the truth. This is how, because we don't know. You just hear about Cassandra Dunn, and you hear about Cassandra Dunn a lot, and then you hear your voice. And so I also heard how sick you were, but now coming to work with the governor, meeting you in terms of the campaign, getting to know who you are, you're real. you know?
Yeah,
And
it's
so,
real talk, real people.
right?
Yes, I've had breast cancer 4 times, and of course, as I said, it was metastatic. So it's been quite a journey, and every day you try to balance between hope and reality. And so, those who are survivors, that's how we live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And survivors, that looks good. You're
Oh,
looking great. So thank
well,
God for
thank
that.
you. Thank
Yeah,
you for
thank
that.
God for that. Senator Francis, this is Breast Cancer Month, right? And we know men actually do get breast cancer. So one of the reasons we have you here today is to speak to the men, not just about breast cancer, but you had cancer yourself, a different form of cancer. Tell us a little bit about what you experienced.
Yeah, Commissioner, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
To Ms. Dunn. Absolutely, yeah. I'll tell you that it was a difficult time for me when I was first diagnosed with cancer. And just a little bit about, how it really started. During Hurricane Louis and Maryland, I had this pain right below my chest, in my sternum area. And the pain had gotten a little bit unbearable at one point, and I ended up going to the emergency room at the time. Dr. Sabedo did well, initially before even going to Dr. Sabedo, I had gone to Dr. Garcia, and he had given me some medication and stuff like that, but the pain still continued. So eventually I ended up at the emergency room. I started in the morning. I could barely walk in with all the pain. And, when Dr. Sabedo came in, he decided to do appendectomy to make a determination of what was happening. So that was done, and I was released and treated. About 2 weeks later, I got a call. I was at work, and I got a call from Dr. Sabedo that I needed to come in to see him. And at that time, it was right after the hurricane, so we were kind of busy. I was in law enforcement, the police department, a ranking officer. So we spoke. I spoke over the phone, and he told me, "You were diagnosed with a malignancy." And that changed my life.
You've said it, and I actually felt,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, malignancy, it was a lymphoma of the ileum, which is a small intestine, a little tip off of the small intestine. And, he said that you need to come in and I need to do some referrals for you and everything. So having heard that, I immediately had a conversation with my boss at the time in respect to what was going on. And he just kind of just gave me the rest of the day off and stuff like that. I went home and told my family and shared the news. And, between tears and laughter and tears and more tears, we came to grips of what was going on. And eventually I ended up going to see Dr. Snyder on St. Thomas. And he referred me to Pavia Hospital in Puerto Rico to Dr. Figueroa Casas. And eventually I also went to Memorial Sloan Kettering. I'll tell you that facility alone is really a good environment to be in under those type of conditions. I mean, they're very welcoming, they're reassuring, and really just calm the whole situation.
They have a very strong patient advocacy group as well. So not only you, but your family members actually are cared for.
Yeah, so, subsequent to that, I took, chemotherapy and later on some radiation. And it was one of those situations where I traveled back and forth. I went to Puerto Rico for the chemotherapy, and I had to do it over a 2-day period of time. I would go over on a Thursday, and I did my 2 hours, and then I had to go back the following day because of for another shot, but it was adromycin, which was really strong. So just sat there and kind of just injected that chemical into your body, but real slow and patiently. So that happened, and of course all of the after effects of it. You start losing your hair. You started.
You don't have to worry about that now, though, right?
Well, that was a good time as well because you had Michael Jordan and all that. So during that time, so there's it was a little comfort there. But you had to go through that pain of going into the shower and just taking a bath, and maybe after like the second dose of chemotherapy, you just start seeing it fall off your pubic hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just everything, your beard, your mustache, your fingernails became real dark, and your palms.
So your whole body
Your
goes
whole
through an
body went through-
experience.
Yes, yeah, your
And
throat was very
as you're
dry.
speaking, Ms. Dunn is actually shaking her head.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
you went through similar experiences.
Yes, and it's important to at that point you just really have to believe in yourself. You know,
Good. I
because
love that. I love
you-
that. Yeah.
You're there. Will I make it? Can I get
Yeah.
through this? And you find the strength.
And so much of healing has to do with inside
yes,
and how you actually look at life altogether.
absolutely.
Yeah, what's critical is that you get that explanation of what to expect, because I think that was so critical that you know what's going to happen, and you just saw the process occurring, but also to really sensitize your family to what was happening, so that
So you said something, and I think that's important for you to repeat it. A lot of people go to physicians, and physicians tell them, but they don't ask questions.
Correct.
You had an expectation, and what did you just say?
you had to again know what to expect.
Yeah.
Especially when you talk about the side effects, you do a lot of research and reading because you hardly could sleep after being diagnosed, right? So you read everything that you possibly could in regards to what was going on with your body.
So I want you to speak to the men in the community, those that may get breast cancer, but any form of cancer.
Yeah, I think it's extremely important that men, we're always reluctant about wanting to be able to get a checkup. Our body have a way of really just start to identify what's going on. You don't feel the same. And when you start to feel those signs, it's important that you're able to go to your physician because time is of the essence. And your ability to be able to, cancer is not a death wish. It's not a death sentence. If you certainly get to a physician in a timely fashion, it could be reversed somewhat, or at least the process could be slowed. So it's very important that when you start to feel your body going through changes, and the way, if you're a religious person, you understand that the way God has really designed your body is to give you those indicators when something is going on wrong with your body, and heal those warnings, and certainly make sure that you go and see a physician, and also take the advice of the physician. Do what's necessary in order to save your own life, because you need to follow the medical directions and instructions, and be able to live a lot longer, not just for yourself, but also for your family as well. So it's critical that you're able to get the examination in a timely fashion and do what's required to be able to save your life. So I want to encourage the men out there, whether or not, and there's ways that you could be able to feel your body. If it's your breast, you do all of the feelings as well. There's instructions how to do that. As any other cancer, I mean, we have a lot of men right now going through the prostate cancer in our community.
Right.
So do your PSA, and make sure that you're able to follow those warning signs that your body is giving you, so that you'll be able to live a lot longer.
I am Eustace Grant Jr., also known as the Don Lee. I was diagnosed with stage 2 prostate cancer on August 31st, 2017. That moment changed my life. The hardest part of the experience was the thought of not being here to see my children and grandchild grow. Luckily, my family and support team were real. They had food sales to show their support. My prayer warriors and doctors were phenomenal. Do I encourage men to get screened for prostate cancer? The answer is an absolute yes. If you're an African-American male with a family history of prostate cancer, you should begin screening at age 40. If you are unsure about screening, talk to your doctor to decide if screening is right for you. This message was brought to you by the Department of Health, Division of Chronic Disease and Prevention.
Now, our last segment was actually on prostate cancer as well, because last month was Prostate Cancer Month, and so we spoke a lot about that, and not being fearful of digital examinations, not being fearful of actually getting the results, because the fear isn't the performance of the test, it's actually what the positive result may come back, and that is when you have to come to who you are and work at it. But we also, you're speaking about what our Director of Behavioral Health, Dr. Shatal Noel, always speaks about emotional wellness and emotional pain. And just listening to both of you, you experienced some emotional pain. How did you deal with that?
Lots of reaching out, right? Cancer can't be a secret. If you have cancer, one of the most therapeutic things to do is to talk about it.
Correct.
And get your team together.
Yeah.
Get your tribe, and they will help you get through. Granted, some people may need some professional therapy, and that's okay. That's definitely okay.
And we are so opposed to that for some
Right.
reason. But I think more and more I see individuals within, in essence, just seeking more and more therapy.
What's also critical is that you immerse yourself in whatever makes you happy.
Yeah.
A lot of times, if it's working, then work more. If it's going to the beach, then go to the beach more. But once you stay alone and you start to watch up at that ceiling, it could really take you
Yeah.
under. So it's critical that you're able to have a conversation. And even if you're talking to yourself, then do that. But it's more important that you're able to share this information with other individuals. It took me a little bit before I started to discuss openly my cancer situation, but now it's very freely, and I do it. And I'll tell you that as a result of that, you people have a tendency to be able to gravitate to you and want to ask that question: what happened? How did you cope with it? And it's critical that you're able to have that voice, someone that you could listen to and talk to about that situation.
And even after it's over, you're still healing, true? Like the
Every day.
fear of knowing whether or not it's going to come back. So,
Of course, you can't be consumed by that.
Good,
Right? Because survival and thriving is, they are complementary. And so you always want to make sure that, your every day is positive. You may wake up every day with it on your mind, but you cannot let it consume your day.
The time has gone by so fast. So we spoke about life during cancer, before, during. Tell us a little bit about what happened after.
Well, after, it's, you think every day about surviving. More so, you think about thriving. And then you become very enthusiastic about sharing your story and trying to help people get through whatever their challenges are. So advocacy becomes a very important part of your life.
So what have you done?
Well, for me, one of my life-saving ventures and also collaboration is with the Yvonne Ashley Galabert Foundation. It was in its infancy stages when I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and of course, Yvonne Galabert, who is a breast cancer survivor, was really, I would say, affected by what she saw during her care, those who couldn't afford treatment and all of that. And so she was committed to getting the YAG Foundation going, and we've been working on it ever since. And we do support. We pay for mammograms. We recently got a grant from the American Cancer Society, and so we've expanded our services to biopsies and pathology reports. If you have a irregular mammogram and you have difficulty affording that, the next step would be the biopsy, and you'll need help with that. And so, the support groups, the conferences, in fact, the good senator spoke at one of our conferences some years back. It was very enlightening. We have fundraising events, go into schools, churches, housing communities. Anybody that will talk to us, we're willing to talk to. And it's been good work. It's been good work.
So you've made a lot of connections.
We've made a lot of connections. And one of the later or most recent connections that we've made is with the Department of Health, as a matter of fact. Some organizations came together about a year ago, some of the nonprofits. YAG Foundation brought an idea to some of the other organizations that maybe we should collaborate. We could do more work, sort of lobby for things such as, clinical studies and all of that, some of the resources that we didn't have here. Maybe we could have more of a global influence and definitely fight for, breast cancer, reducing the risk of breast cancer here in the Virgin Islands. And so we got together, about 6 organizations, and we've been working together ever since. We've produced educational materials and all.
And what is the group called?
The Virgin Islands Cancer Coalition. So we were pretty excited when we were approached by the Department of Health to...
And many of you might remember Dr. Linnea Frederick. She was on the last time to speak about cancer and chronic diseases. So we're going to talk about that a little bit with you and our connection.
Yes.
And then we're going to link back to chronic disease in essence, because cancer is a chronic disease,
Yes.
and link back to that in terms of some preventative measures we can actually use.
Okay. So we were very happy to know that you would be working on a cancer control plan for the Virgin Islands, because that exists in many of the states throughout the nation. And because of that, now we've been meeting, we've had a summit, we have our work groups and all, and we're excited about the possibilities, the potential for reducing all types of cancer in the Virgin Islands, and also bringing in resources.
Right, and the good thing about the summit that we had, and actually you had, Senator, one of your representatives came to the summit, which was wonderful. And so we actually had, of course, legislature was there. We had nonprofits, we had survivors.
Yes.
We had a moment when all the survivors stood up and spoke about some of the things that they experienced, which was awesome. But then we have had follow-up conversations after that.
Yes.
And so merging the coalition is actually something that we haven't done in the past. We speak a lot about collaboration, but we don't live it. But we're seeing the life of that actually blooming much more.
Absolutely.
So that to me, it's a wonderful opportunity that we've embraced.
Yes, for sure. And we feel very good about it. And the collaboration can only be good
Correct. Now, we've actually gotten some federal funds to assist with that. And so our federal partner came down from CDC to work with us that day. And subsequently, they came as well and have given us some really good points. So we're doing pretty well with that, and we're going to continue to do that as well.
Wonderful.
Senator, during the break, right, we spoke a little bit about what we can do differently for ourselves and for our loved ones in terms of encouragement. What are some of the things that you would want to talk to us about how, including prevention?
Well, first of all, we want to say that cancer, or the C word, because some people are reluctant to say the word cancer, is one of those health issues that affect babies and affects adults. We have an aging community, and it's critical that we continue to encourage individuals to be able to see their primary care physicians. But we have had situations where even newborns have been diagnosed with cancer. You know, when we talk about the advocacy that was spoken about, and preventative, we know that cancer is incurable, and there's always this discussion as to what may have caused the cancer originally, and there's always that potential for cancer to return. That's the reason why you have frequent.
So it goes into
follow-up.
remission.
It goes into remission for a period of time and could very well, at any time, come right back. So it's important that you continue to do the necessary preventatives, which mean eating right. You talk about antioxidants and those type of things. You eat a lot of your greens, your vegetables. Stay away from the red meats and those type of things that we believe that may have contributed to cancer cells. So while there may not be a cure for it, there is certainly a healthy means by which you could really eat and maintain your health. You exercise, you'll stay away from smoking, excessive use of alcohol and those type of things are some of the preventative. Exercise regularly is some of those ways that you could really prevent cancer from occurring, or at least be able to slow the process down.
And before you spoke about another risk factor, something that we don't have control over, and that's heredity, correct?
Correct.
But if you look at your heredity, you acknowledge what the risk factors are, and then you start to practice some of the things that you just spoke of, Senator, then you can manage it a little bit more.
Right.
You may be predisposed to cancer, but what you do to prevent that risk from becoming higher is critical in your life.
That is correct.
And education, talking about it, going back and forth. Really, really and truly appreciate your conversation. Give some example that you can speak to friends and families and individuals that you don't even know. Just one, just give them how would you say, a pearl that we can leave them with. It's done?
I would say you are the chairperson of your healthcare team. And the more you know about what you are dealing with, the more informed you are, the more positive you are. That is going to help you get through. Positivity is the key.
Okay. Senator Francis, I am so happy that I am in the chair asking you questions today. But tell us, just give the community one pearl.
I think it's important that you know your family history as well. I think history has a lot to do with it. You know, if what happened to mom, what happened to dad, you know, what happened to your brothers or sisters, even your grandparents, you know, history have a way of repeating itself.
That's true.
And it's important that you understand and know what happened in terms of illness, what may have been the cause of death, you know, for your parents or your grandparents, and that could help you to be able to at least, you know, recognize some of the warning signs that may come 360 degrees in full circle and smack you in the face. You know, make sure that you're doing the necessary preventative, knowing full well that your parents or grandparents may have suffered some type of illness.
Mm-hmm. Excellent, excellent point, both of you. And I'm hoping that as a result of this, because you know it's going to be something that is going to be aired. You know, we were speaking with you, and I want you, and we spoke about this during the Cancer Coalition in reference to the cancer planning session. Mm-hmm. Send us information, send us questions, because we're willing to go out a little bit more. We're going to bring Ms. Dunn with us the next time, and the good senator, so that I think it's important. You know, we talk a lot about boots on the ground. We have put that coined phrase in play. We did it for COVID. We did it for the Bavoni fire, and you know we're going to be doing that again and again. But that's one of the ways that we're looking at changing lives. And we have community health workers now in the Department of Health that's allowing us to enter the communities, enter the homes, ask questions, and to gain the trust in the community. And both of you are out there being advocates, not just by joining, but by speaking. And Senator, you are a proponent for health. No matter what you do in the Senate, you always speak health. And that is and when you're out there, people listen to you. So we really and truly encourage you to continue the conversations with us, encouraging us, because you help us drive healthcare as well. So thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you.
Today.
Thank you very much, Commissioner.
We had an awesome show this evening. I want to take the time to thank our guests. Of course, the Senate President, Noel Francis, Cassandra Dunn. Thank you all. I want to remind you, please, take care of yourself. Remember, looking at chronic diseases and managing chronic diseases is a lot and partly your responsibility. So I want you to take the responsibility for your health. We are here as the Department of Health to support your every need, and we will continue to do that. I want to thank you all for being with us this evening. See you next time as we step into wellness.